Hello everybody, it's Yveltal for another Top 13 for Collab Camera Up. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 13 favorite shiny Pokemon. Now there's a few caveats here. First of all, I'm not going to be doing Pokemon whose shiny version is just like a more saturated version of themselves. Also not going to be basing it off of the Gen 6 sprites that they have, unless obviously it's a Gen 6 Pokemon. I'm going to be basing it on the earlier sprites just because in my opinion a lot of the Gen 6 sprites looked more washed out, and it's really harder to tell what the actual colors are, and a lot of them I think were ruined by that, but that's just my opinion. As always, this is probably not going to be your opinion with the Pokemon, but it's essentially just going to be just whatever shiny looks cool. Not necessarily that it makes the Pokemon look better, just whatever looks cool, whatever I think fits. Anyway, let's get started with number 13. Amoonguss is an interesting Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that disguises itself as a Pokeball. Its arms and head have the appearance of a Pokeball, and it's pretty cool. When you have the shiny is a Master Ball. The red areas that are the Pokeball areas turn more purple, so that it looks more like a Master Ball. Its body is tinted differently, so that accentuates the purple, and I think that looks really cool. It's one of the reasons why Voltorb and Electrode aren't on the list is because they're great balls. Come on, really? If you're gonna go, go big or go home. And that's why Amoonguss is my number 13. Number 12. Number 12 is Agron. Agron is an interesting Pokemon. It's very cool. It's a metal tank, pretty much. It has gray skin, a steel-colored head, and bands around its arms, and blue eyes, red mouth. It's pretty nice. When you see its shiny is just completely different. Some people might not like this. I personally think it's amazing. I like the aqua type color for its body, the red eyes, the more gold tinted head and armbands and leg bands. I think that it makes it look more menacing while also just giving it its own flair, really. It's lower on the list because it doesn't look fantastic, but it still looks pretty cool in my opinion. That's why it's my number 12. Number 11. Number 11 is Lotad. Lotad is a platypus lily pad thing. I don't know what it is. It has 6 feet. The lily pad is a nice deep green in places, the lighter green in the middle. Its body is a blue color. Its beak thing is a beigeish. I don't know. But when you see its shiny, it turns into more of a teal colored lily pad, and its body turns blood red. It's kind of hard to see with these sprites. This is one of the Pokemon that I do defer to the Gen 6 sprites generally, because that actually has a deeper color for it, but its body is blood red. I have a whole theory about why its body is blood red, but that's not for this video. This video is just talking about why I think Lotad looks really cool and scary. Very, very scary. And that's why it's my number 11. Number 10. Number 10 is the Pokemon Haxorus. Haxorus is a cool dragon Pokemon with a gold-yellow body. Its arms, all its talons and its blade axe face are red tinted, black with red tint at the edges of them, and all around it's just a very nice looking Pokemon. When you get to the shiny I like to call Blaxorus. It's essentially the exact same thing, but all the yellow is now black. It's not as creative as some of the other shinies on the list, which is also why it's a bit lower, but it just looks very cool. Once again, it accentuates the red edging on the talons and on the axe head and its red eyes, and I think it looks really cool. Also, this is one of the only shiny Pokemon that I've actually ever caught, because the game hands it to you. The game gives you one to catch. I have the worst luck with shinies. I'll not go into it here, but I have never encountered a shiny Pokemon in the wild that wasn't scripted, and that's just sad. That's why I like Haxorus, because it's one of the few shinies I've ever caught. But it also looks very nice, and that's why it's my number 10. Number 9. Number 9 is Seviper. Seviper on its own looks really cool. I mean, you got the red tail blade once again, accentuated by the black body. You have the purple of its head and the, I don't know, scar S zigzag something. The red fangs, the red eyes, the yellow on its head, and spots along the body. It looks very cool. When you look at the shiny is just an entirely different Pokemon. I mean, you have a blue fangs, eyes, and tail now. The purple head and the body lines are the red color, and the yellow spots are now green. And I think that just looks really awesome. I think it looks more poisonous than it did before. Before, it just looked like it was deadly. It looked like it was something that was going to try to kill you. Now, it looks like it's not going to kill you. It's going to bite you, and it's going to watch you die. I think it looks really awesome, and that's why it's my number 9. Number 8. Number 8 is Gigalith. Oh, Gigalith is a fun Pokemon. Gigalith is a rock made out of rocks with gems sticking out in painful looking places. But it's still really nice. It's like a dark blue rock with, I would say light blood red gems, as opposed to the darker red of Lotad. And yellow eye with, I don't know, red middle, I guess. It's just a very imposing type Pokemon. The gems are, I guess, rubies, and when you see the shiny, the skin now turns more of a purple color, and the ruby gems turn into, I wouldn't say sapphires because they're a lighter color, but they turn into an aqua. And aqua is my favorite color. It's my favorite shade of blue. I think it looks great on pretty much any Pokemon that they put it on. It's the iris of its eye is now aqua as well, and the color just really sticks out. I think it looks more powerful here, even if it looks less imposing. It also just looks more unique, because they really didn't do that with a lot of Pokemon, and it's kind of sad because I think they should have. But anyway, that's why Gigalith is my number 8. Number 7. Number 7 is Corsola. Corsola is adorable. It's a living piece of coral, and it's just the happiest thing. It's one of those Pokemon that just has the Chansey face, meaning just 2 eyes and a smile. There's a lot of Pokemon Ditto, Chansey, things like that, Corsola, that just have the Chansey face, and it's so cute. It's a nice pink with that blends into white, or I guess, yeah, turns into white as you go down the body. And when you look at the shiny, it's once again aqua colored, and one of the reasons why I love this is, aside from the fact that I think aqua is a fantastic color, is just thinking of the tropical location that you find Corsola in, at least in the original games, in Ruby and Sapphire. You find it near Pacifidlog type of thing. I mean, it's a Pacifidlog at least is made out of Corsolas, but it's more of like a tropical type Pokemon, coral reef, and coral reefs are supposed to be like this lighter color as opposed to like, a darker blue of the ocean. These are like more, greens and light greens and light blues and things like that. And I think that a shiny Corsola would fit in much better living in a tropical coral reef than the regular. And that's why Corsola is my number 7. Number 6. Number 6, you're all going to be angry at me about because it's Gyarados. Gyarados is the atrocious Pokemon because it is atrocious, but not because it's ugly, because it's scary. I mean, this Pokemon, it's a lighter blue, but not as light as Corsola, but it's a lighter blue. It looks very fish-like, dragonfish. I mean, just the colors are very fish-like. But when you see the shiny, it's just red and angry and red. And there's 2 reasons why this Gyarados is on my list. One reason is because I think the red works perfectly with him. It just makes it look so much scarier than it is, and I mean, it has intimidated its ability, and that just fits, and it's fantastic. But also because Gyarados is the first shiny Pokemon I got, and really the only one until the next one they handed to me. Gyarados sticks out in my mind because it's your introduction to shiny Pokemon. Unless somehow you get really lucky in the beginning of Gold and Silver and manage to run into a wild shiny Pokemon, but most people aren't Chugga Conroy or any of you other people whose luck equals infinity. Some of us don't run into wild shiny Pokemon, which is why I loved Gyarados. I used it for a long time in my original game, just because it was so cool, and that's why Gyarados will stay in my heart at number 6. Number 5. Number 5 is a Gen 6 Pokemon, so you're gonna see different sprites for it, but anyway, it's Hon Edge. Hon Edge is a really cool Pokemon. I've talked about Aegislash in the past and how much I love it. I've also talked about the shiny, which this should be no shock, but Hon Edge starts out as a sword with a nice blue scarf hand coming out of the hilt of the blade, with a light blue eye, and when you see the shiny is covered in blood. There's no two ways about it. The sword is soaked in blood, the arm is soaked in blood, and the eye and the hand part are purple. But it's mainly the blood red blade, and this is it was really a toss-up between Hon Edge and Doublade because they're similar, but Doublade doesn't have the blood-soaked scarf, and Aegislash is more, it's just a trim really, so I didn't choose him, but there's just, I don't know. Out of all the colors they could have chosen a black sword or, you know, like a more shiny white sword, they chose a blood-stained sword, and that really fits. That fits so well with Hon Edge. And just the way that the Pokemon is supposed to be like the Pokemon for people who fight wars and things like that. So that's why Hon Edge is my number 5. Number 4. Number 4 is the Pokemon Steelix. Steelix is really cool. It's obviously steel colored with a red eye and just a very nice looking aesthetic. And it's just a very cool Pokemon. The shiny is even better. The shiny is gold. Steelix is now not Steelix, it's Goldix. Maybe I would name it that if I ever got a shiny, but it looks really cool. If I was talking about Megas, which I'm not, I would talk about Mega Steelix, shiny Mega Steelix, which is just the coolest thing, with gems and all sorts of gold orbiting around itself, but I'm not, so this is just about shiny Steelix. I just love the fact that it's now made out of pure gold, and that probably makes it weaker to fire, unfortunately. But regardless, I think it looks really cool. It's also just one of those things that stuck with me for a long time. Just as soon as I saw it, I said, that has to be on my team. I don't care whether it's good or bad. It happens to be amazing defensively, but still, it's just, in my opinion, really nice. There's a few Pokemon that try to do the gold aesthetic. Some accomplish it, but I think Steelix does the best. Which is why it's my number 4. Number 3. Number 3 is Yveltal. Yveltal is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 6 in general, which is saying something. I guess it's not saying something because there are very few Pokemon from Gen 6 I actually like, but Yveltal is a very cool Pokemon, just cool looking. It has 3 hands, its tail is a hand. It has black striping along a dark red body. Actually, it's really light red, but still. With a gray mane and like antenna kind of sticking up, antenna wings sticking up out of its head that are also black. But when you take a look at the shiny, the red is darker. The mane is now more of a ash, well, not really an ash gray, a dark gray, and all the black lines are now white. And that looks horrifying. This Pokemon is essentially the god of death, and I think it looks more deathly with white, even though black is really associated with death. But once you see just this skeleton almost bearing down on you with these giant claw hands, I don't think you really feel the escape. It's a skeleton filled with blood. Actually, it looks like more like muscle or like a piece of meat with with like a, you know, white fat or something. But whatever it is, it's horrifying, and I love it. Unfortunately, Yveltal, shiny Yveltal is not something you can get legally yet, which is why I don't have one. But soon, I'm sure soon we'll have some sort of event or something, and it'll be mine. And that's why it's my number 3. Number 2. Number 2 is pretty much the entire Totodile family. I chose Feraligatr here because why not? But pretty much they all have the same color scheme, so they're interchangeable. But the Feraligatr has a dark blue, medium to dark blue body, red fins on its back similar to Godzilla, and just a nicer, I guess, light beige for its skin, under its jaw and its belly, and it looks really cool. When you get to the shiny is more of an aquamarine color with a dark blue on the fins on its back, and I guess more of a yellow on it under its jaw and its belly, just to accentuate the aquamarine. And I just really like this. Once again, I just enjoy aquamarine teal type colors, and I think it looks more oceany for this. I would say that the regular one is more freshwater, this is more saltwater, if that makes any sense whatsoever, but it's always one of my favorite ones, and the Totodile family has always been some of my favorite Pokemon, so I think it just goes very well together with the look and its usage, and that's why it's my number 2. Number 1. Number 1 is Hawlucha. Hawlucha I've talked about a lot already as why it's one of my favorite Pokemon. It's just a luchador. It's really cool. It's got red arms with green wings and a green mask with some orange on it, and it's a white body, white legs, shoes, and it looks really cool as a luchador. When you get to the shiny is even cooler. The shiny is black arms and chest, green top of his head, a purple helmet and purple wings, and a blood red body. If regular Hawlucha is the hero of the luchadors, then shiny Hawlucha is the villain. This thing looks like it's ready to take down anyone and anything in its way, and it looks really powerful. It definitely pulls off the look a lot better than regular Hawlucha in my opinion, and it looks like, you just don't want to mess with it, and that's why it's my number 1. So thank you all very much for watching. Remember to suggest other top 13s you'd like to see in the future in the comments. Let me know what you think of this one. What your favorite shiny is. Doesn't have to be top 13, it could just be top favorite. In the future I'll probably do a go by gen also. This is my top 13 Gen 1 shinies or whatever. But these Pokemon were the ones that are my favorite. I didn't really say it beforehand, but I didn't include Megas. Otherwise, there'd just be stuff like Mega Gengar, Mega Steelix. Those have great shinies, but that maybe in the future I'll do that for the individual stuff. But anyway, this has been Seviper with Collab Camera. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.